Thank you, Jacoby, Lulu, Peter, the whole team. So my name is Alan Gandelman. I'm a hemp farmer in upstate New York outside of Ithaca. Thank you, guys. Thank you to all the farmers I see out here. There's a lot of us hemp growers. Before that, I was also an organic vegetable farmer, but in the process of growing hemp and CBD over the last 4 years, what we realized is that New York didn't have a true, full understanding of cannabis plant, cannabinoids, and all of the things that we've been doing with it for years and what we could do with it. And so I started, I'm the founder of the New York Cannabis Growers and Processors Association. Thank you. And I'm also currently the president of the board. We are a member-driven association. Right now, we represent over 200 farmers, entrepreneurs, brands, people who want to get into THC, want to do retail, want to do delivery services. We've been having legacy operators join our membership recently. And the reason is because what we do is we advocate at the state level for small and mid-sized businesses who are here and based in New York and want to get into cannabis and want to make sure that the cannabis industry is for us, and it is for all of our type of people and all of our good farmers and our good businesses and our good existing cultivators. And so our board, our members, we basically crowdsource our policy. We have committees. We make sure that we understand what the industry needs. We boil it down to our recommendations. We write white papers, and we go to the state and we say, look, this is what we need to do to make our entrepreneurs in cannabis successful, and that's how we work on the regulatory side and the policy side. So we have a table out there. If you're in the industry and you want to join, we accept everyone as members. We have some amazing people. We have a great team. So please sign up and become a member today. All right, and so with that, I'm gonna go over some of the different license types. So Jacoby and Lulu asked me to kind of set a baseline for today. There's a lot of panels, there's a lot of information coming at you. It's hard to wrap your mind around all of it. The way that the New York law was written, that the MRTA, the Marijuana Regulation Taxation Act, it breaks up the licenses into 9 categories. And one of the reasons it does that is to prevent vertical integration and to prevent big businesses from coming in and really dominating the market and pushing all of the smaller ones out. And so when you're looking at the cannabis industry here in New York, you kind of have to choose your lane. The industry is divided into the supply chain and the retail side. And so if you're going to be on the supply chain side, a cultivator, a processor, a manufacturer, you cannot also own a dispensary or delivery service. So I'm going to go through each license real quick. We'll start with the first one. All right. First one. Oh, I can't even see the slides. All right. Here we go. Don't worry, I think about this in my sleep, actually, so I could do this without the slides. But the first one is the cultivator license. You can check them out. Anyone who is a cultivator, like I was just saying, you can also get a license to be a processor and a manufacturer, but you can only hold one cultivation license. This isn't like some other states where you could start stacking licenses. Right now, we are expecting that we will be allowed to grow outdoor, which is fantastic. That's a huge bonus in New York, that cannabis is an agricultural crop, and towns cannot zone us out from growing outside or building an indoor cultivation facility. So that is a huge, huge win. Yes, that's amazing. Downside, again, here, or maybe not the downside, is that you can't have a direct or indirect interest in another license on the other side, on the retail side. So you can't go and invest in a dispensary the way that the New York law is written. Then you have the nursery license, which is super important because everyone needs their genetics. We know it's all about the genetics. And so you can get a nursery license so you could produce and sell and distribute the clones, plants, and seeds. This is fantastic for some of those people who I know who just like nerd out and geek out about breeding forever and ever and ever. So that's for them. Then there's the processor license. If you want to be an extractor, if you want to be a manufacturer, if you want to, make distillate, fill carts, make your gummies, do whatever you like to do. This is the license for you. Again, you can't have any interest. If you own a processing license, you cannot have any interest on the dispensary or the delivery side. All right, and then this is something very unique to New York, the cooperative license. Now, the way that this is written is pretty broad. Cooperatives are going to be able to be like a farm cooperative. So you can get a bunch of craft growers together. You could start a cooperative. You could share resources. You could have one license. You could potentially set up your own cooperative processing, manufacturing facility, and pool your resources and do it together as a group. It's a great license. We have not seen this done in cannabis a lot around the country, and I think this is one we're going to pioneer. You know, a big thing about this is that we could have worker-owned cooperatives. And so how nice would that be if that a group of people could own their own company together and not have to capitalize it themselves and not have to go out there and find insane amounts of money to do this on their own. Yes, that's a good one. You guys should be happy about that one. And I want to kind of echo what Jacoby said before, is that these are just bare bones. You know, we're here today to really discuss all of these things. We have a lot of policymakers here. They're going to be talking, but they're also in the crowd. They're here to listen and learn. These are the bare bones. A lot of the details are not set. Like, for example, on that cultivator license, people keep asking me, can I do 5,000, 10,000, 20, 100,000? Is there canopy caps? How many licenses are there? We just don't know yet. That's what we're here to talk about and decide as a group, as a community, what will make sense for New York. So just kind of keep that in mind as the day goes on. Then there's the distributor license. The distributor license is going to be its own tier. If you are just a distributor, you're kind of siloed. You cannot have financial interest in a cultivation side or the dispensary side, unless you are a processor making your own products. You can get a distributor license, but you can only distribute your own products. This is kind of similar to what New York does in the craft beer space. So, you know, some of these ideas have been taken from the craft beer space here in New York, which has been doing really, really well over the last several years. Then you have your delivery license. This one, you know, this is amazing. One of the really interesting parts about this delivery license category, and that is written in statute, is that you cannot have more than 25 employees. So this is really meant to spread the love, build those small businesses, help as many existing delivery operators out there get into the space, use their infrastructure, use their people, and keep doing what you do right now, but just doing it legally, finally. So this is a really awesome license. It's already been keeping larger companies out of state. As the president of the association, I get phone calls from big companies all over the country, and they're like, well, we can't get into New York because we want to do delivery, and you limit it to 25, so how am I supposed to make any money in New York? And my answer is, well, it's not really for you, right? It's for New Yorkers who are here in New York. The microbusiness license. This is another really cool one. We've seen a few other states try this. We haven't seen anyone really take this one off to its full potential like I think we could do here. The microbusiness really allows you to be fully vertical at a small scale. What that small scale looks like, we don't know. We got to talk about that. Let's talk about that today. Let's talk about it in the near future, so when these regulations are being written, we know what's going to make sense. Is there a canopy cap? Is there an employee cap? You know, how is this going to look? But the idea here, again, is to create a lot of small businesses who could be fully vertical and sell directly to their consumers. So that's what the micro business is all about. There's a lot left here to flesh out, which we will do over the near future. Then you've got your dispensaries. I think everyone knows about dispensaries. The interesting thing in New York is you can only own 3 locations, and you can't stack them. So if you have an investment group and you own some dispensaries, that's it. You're limited to 3. You can't go and invest in another group to own more dispensaries and more and start, you know, just stacking these things and controlling the marketplace. Again, another small business New York license. All right. And then last but not least is the on-site consumption license. We all know the awesome lounges that currently exist in New York. They are fantastic, and I really hope that people take this one and they run with it. I mean, we've got people here doing really cool on-site consumption events right now, you know, showing movies, doing all sorts of interesting things. Again, another unique to New York one that I think we're going to take off and do better than anyone has done. So that's it. Those are the 9. That's it. Cool. Thank you, guys. Hopefully that was a good overview. All right.